cheese?
Oh, that's all right. I'm just going to get a shot of this beautiful breakfast buffet. I missed the one last night. No, I missed I want to take a picture of last night's buffet. It was gorgeous.
Oh, that was super. Oh, was it? Oh, thanks. It was very nice. And I missed it.
But we trust that you had a good dinner, too.
Oh, yeah. Ham.
And lobster.
Lobster.
We did.
We did.
Crawdad.
Crawdad. Baby lobsters.
Oh.
Yeah, so good.
The hot portion of the breakfast buffet.
Now that's the milk itself, so must be, huh?
We're at the Oslo cruise terminal here in the harbor, waiting for our guide for our city tour of Oslo. This is Castle. I don't remember the name right now, but it's right across from the terminal. Our color line terminal is just down the harbor a little farther that we leave from on Tuesday.
70 office rooms, all in all there. Below it, you see a big hall. That's the city hall, to put it that way. That's beautifully decorated. Pity we don't have time to see it now, but that might be some other opportunity. And that's a hall for all kinds of important events, everything from weddings, if you choose to wed in the city hall, to the handing out of the Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, you heard all about the Peace Prize, the Nobel Prizes in Stockholm, you thought. No, you didn't. You see, the Peace Prize is handed out here in Oslo. And why is that? The Nobel Peace Prize. Heard about that, haven't you?
Yeah.
And why is that? Well, that's because the founder of the Nobel Prizes, the Swede Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite and the Nobel Prizes, you know, he felt sorry for the fact that his dynamite, which was intended for peaceful purposes, was used to blow up people, also, you know. So he wanted to do something about that. And he didn't know what, but he had a friend, an Austrian baroness. Her name was Bertha von Suttner. And she was very much in favor of a more peaceful world, and she said, you must... And you must create a prize for the preservation of peace. And that was the first of all the Nobel Prizes, before he got the idea of the other prizes. And for some reason he wanted that Peace Prize to be handed out by a Norwegian committee here in Oslo. We don't know exactly why he stated that in his will, but we think it could have two reasons. That he was very fond of Norway, possible, but he was a Swede, so no. Most likely he was on very bad terms with the Swedish king at that time. And that was a little kick at him, you see. And the Norwegians would get the Nobel Prize. And to make it a little better, he then invented the other Nobel Prizes later on for literature, medicine, physics, chemistry, and so on. And they were supposed to be handed out in Stockholm, as you heard about in Stockholm for sure. But they forgot to tell you about the Peace Prize, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, typical Swedes, huh? Some days to Kiel. That's a big ferry from Germany. Yeah. From the castle itself, none are older in this quarter, because this was built in the early 1600s. Oslo is much older, though. It dates back to 1050 AD, when it was founded by King Harald Hardrode. It means Harald the Hard Ruler. That's what I learned in school, at least. Here on the left-hand side, this yellow house, that's Oslo's old town hall. And you can soon read when it was built. It says on the wall 1641. And you see the new one, you're going to see the new one better soon also. You could say that Oslo was founded twice. So, only streetcars and pedestrians are allowed today. In the old days, the whole traffic of Oslo was thundering across it. Now it goes deep down in a tunnel.
Thundering across.
So now it's because, according to the legend, swans were flying over Oslo when the city was founded. That's why we turn right. In front of it, the statues of the two great playwrights of the last century, Bjørnson and Ibsen. At least Ibsen you might have heard about. You know the Doll's House, Peer Gynt, and so on. Have a new official royal palace. You'll see it soon. But first, on your right-hand side, that's the Parliament, built 1866. And straight ahead, Oslo's most traditional hotel, the Grand Hotel, to return to the Nobel Peace Prize again. You see a tower there, don't you? It's a big suite there, 3 floors in the tower, and that's where the Nobel Peace Prize winner always stays when he or she visits Oslo to receive the prize. In the ground floor there, one of Oslo's most famous restaurants, it's called Grand Café. Early 19th century. His Majesty, though, is not here today. I can see that from far away because the flag is not open. The flag is there only when the Majesty is in there. You see those small ugly stalls there? They are for the political parties, because we're going to have local elections there soon, and each party have one of these to hand out propaganda material. I think they could have done without them, really. They get enough about politics in other media anyway. Then from him, they call themselves the Bernadottes, you might have heard. With pride, although he didn't have a single drop of blue blood in his veins originally. But that's another story. On your left-hand side, you see the founder of the present ruling dynasty in Norway. The man standing there was King Haakon VII, the grandfather of the present king. Behind it,
Das ist die Unterbodenwaschanlage für die Straßenbahn.
yeah. Yeah, do you see this water? That's to clean the streetcars underneath. When they pass. But he looks very sad, as you see, because he hasn't got his cigar. Embassy. And you see a bust here on your left-hand side of Alfred Nobel, the only Swede we can see in the whole of Oslo. But that's because he gave the Norwegians the Nobel Peace Prize. That's why they Alfred Nobel. Looks like you're going into the basement of the king, but you don't. It looks almost like that. You enter.
Palace grounds.
They already have 2 stations here. Above, it's the city subway, where you had the big shipyard in the old days. That was changed into a huge shopping center. Arctic Wharf. You see some of the old shops are still there, but they have changed their purpose. And the big glass facade there are some condominiums. There are also offices, but mainly a shopping quarter. You can walk very, very beautifully along the seafront on the other side. Terminal where the ship from Denmark was anchored. This is another big ship, the ship which goes between Oslo and Kiel, northern Germany. And I understand with Color Line, yeah, you're going to leave from here in some days, so you know where from. On the right-hand side behind, on the left-hand side behind you, you see the beginning of the city harbor tunnel, which goes underneath most of the city to take away the traffic from the streets up above. Here.
Everybody must have his elbow.
Close to the left, a small chateau, small castle built by King Osko the First in 1852. Sorry, 1852, of course. It's not that old, but 1852, it's also something. As you see, built in medieval romantic style. It's supposed to be a very good one, but you know, one never has to go there, but because it's a special hospital for cancer treatment. It's got a very special name to it. It's called the Radium Hospital, as you can see from the sign. And that's because it was built from donated money. They collected money for it in the 1920s when cancer started to become a big disease, also here. It's the world's oldest ski arena because the first ski jump was built already 1892 up there, a small wooden construction then, of course. And skiing had become very popular in Norway at that time. It came from Telemark, the province of Telemark in the southwest, and spread here to Oslo in the 1880s. And to construct the first roads, and also Oslo's first suburban railway line was actually built up there and inaugurated 1898, 101 years ago. So that's Oslo's oldest suburban train line. Very modern for its time, an electrical line. And then some people started to look at this hill again and say, hey, we could live up there and enjoy the view and the fresh air, and even so we could get fast downtown again. So slowly this became Oslo's most fashionable area. Some villas were built around the turn of the century already, but in earnest they started to build here in the 1950s really. And it's very easy to find out of the social layers in Oslo. Very easy. The higher, the better. So here we have good middle class still. A little higher up we get to the real top class. Yeah, we start to get up in the better classes now, so breathe again. Yeah? Old good Norwegian traditions. Look up on the right-hand side. A huge wooden house with even a grass roof. Way. You see it on the left-hand side? You see, I often pass that house at winter time, and he never has to clear the snow. It melts, because he's got high heating key. On your right-hand side, if you look at this vista, you have to pay for that. The car is all the way. This is the famous Holmenkollen. It's been, as I said, rebuilt and enlarged and modernized many times throughout its history. It's had many great events here. In 1952, they had the Winter Olympics. You're going to see a second Olympic town next today, going to pass Lillehammer, where they had the Olympics in '94. But in 1952, it was here. They've had several world championships, and every year it's a big ski festival with World Cup events in not only ski jumping. You see below here, it's a stadium for cross-country and recon chain.
How come we didn't stay there, Lydia?
You couldn't afford it.
I think we should have checked.
This is the ski jump.
Before you have to make a jump. We are more optimistic than, for instance, the Austrians. But we have a church, you can have prayer first and then you survive it. Down to cross country and for biathlon, and below there, of course, the no water-filled outrun for the skiers. But as I said, the water will be pumped away later this autumn, as every year, to prepare it for the ski jumpers. Figure comes into view. As we get closer, we see that it consists of several bodies. So not Ventura, their body, but their bodies in this case, yeah?
Because I'm sure you will have questions. Can't answer all of them, but I can try to give you an outline of what this should be. For man, you see around that big column a circular staircase, and on the staircase are 36 granite groups. And they are supposed to show you all situations of life. You see young and old, you see men and women in various phases of life, and it goes around with the sun. So over there to the left you'll see the small children, and they develop through childhood and adolescence. You see more mature people, and to the left you see the old ones, the dying. It's the whole life there. And in the middle, people are struggling upwards, perhaps to heaven. The middle column consists of one chunk of granite. It was chiseled out by 3 stone cutters, 3 stonemasons. They worked on it for 14 years. First they had to drag the big block up here because they didn't care where it stands now. So that's a big problem. Transporting a chunk of granite with a weight of more than 300 tons.
Circle of life.
And the gates also, they are designed by Vigeland, the same artist, made of wrought iron and granite. And then we enter a street which was intended to be a main street out of the city for the traffic to the northwest. But they never let much traffic into her, so it's remained a nice, quiet city, lined by trees. Talking about immigration, you know that Columbus wasn't the first European in America. It was good old Leif Erikson around the year 1000 AD.
There's the Norwegian Mounted Police. This is the City Hall here at Oslo, where we stopped so that some people can get some money exchanged.
Thank you.
Did somebody say McDonald's? Looks like you got a couple Happy Meals.
Yeah.
More McDonald's Happy Meals. Stockholm through the underground. As we are, or not Stockholm, Oslo, as we are leaving after our city tour. As we're heading north toward Canada.
And then when you get out to the
Yes, thank you.
This is what you call the Stau at the WC. And then there are those that didn't want to stand in line that are going to the bush.
Because we are 2 hours and every 2 hours. Oh, sure. Stop for them.
What are you doing in the bush, Kenny? What are you doing in the bush?
What the hell was he doing back there? I think I heard one snort.
Did Harry and Bill get back?
View in the distance of Lillehammer.
See, I think you have to have a side hill combine on these, I would say. Oh, yeah. That green would go around the back of it. And they all run to one side for silver.
I think you got Kenny.
Have I got some more stuff to knock off here?
You want to bring that back?
View in the distance of the ski jump here at Lillehammer.
Be one hell of a ride, I'll tell you. Rollerblades.
Right from the neck.
From up at the stadium, the view of Lillehammer, the hockey arena down below. Driving into the arena. This is inside the arena at Lillehammer, where the opening ceremonies were held for the 1994 Olympics. The Olympic torch that was lit at the opening ceremony. Our bus was able to drive right into the center of the arena where the
For the opening
ceremonies were held. We're having a little break here before we continue on to Atta for our overnight.
They have to go down on the other side.
They
Oh yeah, they're coming
didn't
down.
get up very
There
far.
you go, now well, they would run out of time if they went all the way.
Oh yeah. Well, they got their exercise anyway.
I hate to see them try it, you get a hard spot.
Yeah. That's the Olympic torch.
Margaret, are you gonna give it to me?
Okay. King Harold, you have to sing and dance.
Let's see you dance.
You have to sing and dance.
She picks out the stuff and then leaves nicely.
Oh, lutefisk, oh, lutefisk, how fragrant is your aroma.
Just beautiful countryside. What's a hotel? Got checked into our hotel here in Atta, the Norlandic Hotel. This is the view from our room.